Welcome back, Rare Coin Insider. Imagine reaching into your pocket at the end of the day, pulling out what looks like an ordinary dime, and discovering that it could be worth far more than its face value. Every year, millions of Roosevelt dimes pass through the hands of people who never stop to examine them closely. They are spent on coffee, dropped into tip jars, forgotten in old drawers, and hidden inside piggy banks. Yet among these ordinary-looking coins, a small number possess characteristics that collectors eagerly search for, and some have sold for impressive amounts because of rare errors, exceptional condition, or unique minting varieties. Today we're taking a close look at the 2015 P. Roosevelt dime, a coin that most people overlook but one that has become increasingly interesting to collectors who understand what makes certain modern coins special. The Roosevelt dime has a rich history that stretches back to the middle of the 20th century. Introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt after his passing in 1945, the coin replaced the Mercury dime and has remained in production ever since. Roosevelt's leadership during the Great Depression and World War II made him one of the most influential presidents in American history. He also played an important role in supporting efforts to combat polio, and his connection to the March of Dimes campaign made the dime a fitting denomination to bear his portrait. For decades, this design has remained one of the most recognizable in American coinage. The 2015 P dime was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The small P mint mark appears on the obverse of the coin, just above the date, and to the right of Roosevelt's portrait. For collectors, that tiny letter tells an important story about where the coin was manufactured. The Philadelphia Mint has produced billions of coins throughout American history, and in 2015, it struck hundreds of millions of Roosevelt dimes for circulation. While most examples remain worth only 10 cents in everyday use, collectors know that condition and minting quality can dramatically change a coin's value. Every 2015 P. Roosevelt dime weighs approximately 2.268 grams. This precise weight is carefully controlled during the manufacturing process to ensure consistency across every coin produced for circulation. The coin has a diameter of 17.91 millimeters and a thickness of approximately 1.35 millimeters. It features a reeded edge made up of 118 tiny grooves that not only provide texture, but historically help prevent precious metal from being shaved from coins. Although today's dimes are no longer made from silver, this traditional feature continues to be part of their design. The metal composition of the 2015 P dime consists of a pure copper core surrounded by outer layers of copper nickel. Specifically, the outer alloy contains 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to the copper center. This die construction has been used since 1965, when the United States Mint stopped producing circulating dimes from 90% silver due to rising silver prices. As a result, ordinary 2015 P dimes contain no silver. But that doesn't mean they can't become valuable. Their collectible value comes from rarity, condition, and minting errors rather than precious metal content. Looking closely at the obverse, you'll notice Roosevelt facing left with remarkable detail despite the coin's small size. The word Liberty appears along the left side, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," is positioned to the lower left of the portrait. The date, 2015, appears near the lower right, accompanied by the small P mint mark indicating the Philadelphia Mint. Every element is carefully engraved to maintain clarity, even after years of circulation. Turn the coin over, and you'll find one of the most recognizable reverse designs in modern American coinage. A central torch represents liberty. To its left is an olive branch symbolizing peace, while an oak branch on the right stands for strength and independence. Around these symbols appear the inscriptions, "United States of America, 1 dime," and the Latin motto, E pluribus meaning out of many, one. Although the design has remained largely unchanged for decades, its symbolism continues to reflect the ideals of the United States. Most people never inspect the details of a dime, but experienced collectors know that every tiny line, every letter, and every edge can reveal important clues. Under magnification, they examine the quality of the strike, looking for sharp details in Roosevelt's hair, the torch flame, and the leaves of the olive and oak branches. Coins with exceptionally strong strikes and virtually no wear are much more desirable than those that have spent years in circulation. Another factor that determines value is preservation. A coin that has never entered circulation often retains its original mint luster, displaying brilliant reflective surfaces created during striking. These coins are known as mint state examples and are graded on the internationally recognized Sheldon scale from MS-60 through MS-70. While most circulated 2015p dimes remain worth face value, certified examples in MS-67, MS-68, or higher can command substantial premiums because of their exceptional quality and rarity in top grades. The search for valuable modern coins has grown dramatically in recent years. Thousands of collectors carefully inspect pocket change every day, hoping to discover an unusual error or a superbly preserved example overlooked by others. Although finding such a coin is uncommon, it does happen, and stories of unexpected discoveries continue to inspire new collectors to examine every coin before spending it. Imagine examining that same 2015p Roosevelt dime under a bright light with a magnifying glass. At first glance, every coin appears identical, but experienced collectors know that the smallest differences can completely change a coin's desirability. Tiny imperfections created during the minting process often become the very features that collectors spend years trying to find. While the overwhelming majority of 2015p dimes are ordinary circulation pieces, a handful display unusual characteristics that make them stand out from the billions of coins produced by the United States Mint. One of the first things experts inspect is the overall strike quality. A coin begins its life as a blank metal planchet. This blank is fed into a high-speed coin press, where tremendous pressure forces the metal into every recess of the dies. When everything works perfectly, every letter, every strand of Roosevelt's hair, every ridge on the torch, and every leaf on the reverse appears crisp and fully detailed. Sometimes, however, the strike is weaker than intended. Parts of the design may appear soft, while other areas remain sharp. Although many weak strikes are common and carry little premium, unusually well-struck examples often become favorites among collectors because they showcase every artistic detail of the design. Mint luster is another characteristic that separates ordinary coins from premium quality examples. Freshly struck coins exhibit a distinctive cartwheel effect when tilted beneath a light source. This shimmering appearance is produced by microscopic flow lines created as the metal expands into the dies during striking. Once a coin enters circulation, contact with other coins gradually removes this original surface, reducing both eye appeal and collector value. A 2015p dime that still retains blazing original luster years after leaving the mint is far more attractive to collectors than one showing heavy wear. Surface preservation plays an equally important role. Every time coins are transported from the mint, they bump into one another inside large bags and containers. Even before reaching banks, many receive tiny contact marks. Coins with unusually clean surfaces and very few abrasions are much scarcer than most people realize. This is why grading services pay close attention to every scratch, nick, and mark under magnification before assigning a final grade. Professional grading has become one of the most important aspects of modern coin collecting. Independent grading companies authenticate coins, evaluate their condition, and encapsulate them in tamper-resistant holders. This process gives buyers confidence that the coin has been professionally examined and assigned an accurate grade. High-grade modern coins often sell for dramatically higher prices than similar examples, with only slightly lower grades, because the finest known examples are genuinely scarce. Collectors also pay close attention to the quality of the dies used during production. As minting continues, dies gradually wear out. Early strikes from fresh dies usually display stronger detail and brilliant surfaces. Later strikes from burned dies may show fading details, especially in Roosevelt's hair or the torch on the reverse. Die deterioration itself usually doesn't create major value, but understanding it helps collectors distinguish ordinary production characteristics from genuine mint errors. Speaking of mint errors, these are among the most exciting discoveries any collector can make. Errors occur when something unexpected happens during the manufacturing process. Because they are accidental, no two error coins are exactly alike. Their rarity often makes them far more valuable than standard circulation pieces. Off-center strikes occur when the planchet is not perfectly aligned before the dies strike it. Part of the design may be missing, while a blank crescent remains visible along one side. The amount of misalignment largely determines collector interest. Dramatic off-center strikes that still show the full date and mint mark are especially desirable because they clearly demonstrate the minting mistake while preserving the coin's identity. Another fascinating error involves broad strikes. Normally, a retaining collar surrounds the planchet during striking to maintain the correct diameter and form the reeded edge. If the collar fails, the metal spreads outward under pressure, producing a broader coin with no proper reading. Broad-struck dimes are immediately recognizable and often command strong premiums depending on their condition. Collectors are equally fascinated by clipped planchets. Before striking, blank discs are punched from long strips of metal. Occasionally, the punching process overlaps an existing hole, creating a curved section missing from the edge of the blank. When struck, the finished coin permanently displays this distinctive curved clip. Genuine clipped planchet errors are collectible because they originated during the manufacturing process rather than from post-mint damage. Die cracks represent another category of collectible mint errors. As steel dies endure enormous pressure over millions of strikes, tiny fractures may develop. These cracks transfer onto the coins as raised lines because the metal flows into the damaged areas of the die. Some die cracks remain small and subtle, while others grow into dramatic features spreading across significant portions of the design. Advanced collectors often study these varieties because they reveal the gradual deterioration of individual dies throughout production. Occasionally, pieces of the die itself break away, producing what collectors call die chips or retained cuts. These appear as raised blobs of metal on the finished coin where the damaged die left a void. Although small die chips are relatively common, larger retained cuts can become highly desirable due to their unusual appearance and limited production. Another error that attracts attention is the double die. Unlike machine doubling, which generally adds little collector value, a true double die originates during die creation itself. Portions of the design appear doubled because the hub impressed the die in slightly different positions during manufacture. Genuine double dies require careful examination under magnification and are authenticated by specialists before commanding significant premiums. Collectors also search for die clashes. Occasionally, the obverse and reverse dies strike one another without a planchet between them. This transfers faint portions of each design onto the opposite die. Later coins struck by these dies may display unusual ghost-like design elements in unexpected locations. These subtle varieties provide fascinating evidence of what occurred inside the minting press. Although dramatic mint errors are uncommon, they continue to be discovered in circulation, mint rolls, dealer inventories, and inherited collections. Every year collectors report finding unusual Roosevelt dimes that had gone unnoticed for years. These discoveries remind everyone that valuable coins are not limited to ancient collections or expensive auctions. Sometimes remarkable finds are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with patience and knowledge to recognize them. Even if a 2015 P dime has no errors, outstanding preservation alone can make it collectible. Coins certified at exceptionally high mint state grades become increasingly scarce because almost every tiny mark reduces the final grade. As populations shrink near the top of the grading scale, competition among industry set collectors often pushes prices much higher than casual observers expect. A difference of just one grading point can sometimes mean the difference between a modest premium and a much more valuable collectible. Imagine years passing after the 2015 P. Roosevelt dime first entered circulation. Millions of these coins have traveled across the United States, exchanged between businesses, collected in jars, forgotten in drawers, and stored away in old wallets. Every coin develops its own journey, and while most continue serving as ordinary pocket change, a very small percentage become highly desirable to collectors because of their outstanding preservation, certified high grades, or genuine mint errors. This is why experienced numismatists never judge a coin solely by its denomination. They understand that rarity is often created not by age alone, but by condition, quality, and uniqueness. One of the most fascinating aspects of modern coin collecting is that valuable discoveries can still happen today. Banks receive countless rolls of coins every week. Estate collections are inherited by families who may not recognize what they own, and old piggy banks are opened after years of being forgotten. Every one of these situations presents an opportunity for someone knowledgeable to discover an exceptional coin before anyone else notices its significance. When evaluating a 2015 P. Roosevelt dime, professionals begin by confirming authenticity. Although counterfeit modern dimes are uncommon because of their relatively low face value, authentication becomes important whenever a coin displays an unusual feature or appears to possess a rare mint error. Weight, diameter, metal composition, edge characteristics, and overall appearance are all carefully examined before any conclusions are reached. Collectors then inspect the surfaces under magnification. Even tiny scratches, cleaning marks, or fingerprints can reduce a coin's desirability. Cleaning a coin is one of the biggest mistakes new collectors make. While it may seem logical to polish a coin to make it look shiny, doing so usually removes part of the original mint surface and permanently reduces collector value. Professional numismatists almost always prefer an untouched coin with natural aging over one that has been artificially cleaned. Proper storage is equally important. Coins should be handled only by their edges whenever possible. Fingerprints contain oils and moisture that can affect the surface over time. Many collectors store valuable coins in archival quality holders, protective capsules, or certified grading service slabs to minimize environmental damage. Heat, humidity, and exposure to certain chemicals can also affect long-term preservation, making careful storage essential for maintaining condition. The coin collecting hobby continues to grow because every coin tells part of America's history. Even a modern Roosevelt dime reflects advances in minting technology, changes in metal composition, and decades of artistic tradition. Collectors appreciate these coins not only for their monetary value, but also for the stories they represent. A single dime may have passed through thousands of hands, traveled across numerous states, and witnessed countless everyday transactions before finally finding its place in a collection. For most circulated 2015 P. Roosevelt dimes, the value remains 10 cents. Uncirculated examples may sell for a few dollars, depending on their quality. Certified coins in exceptionally high mint state grades can bring significantly higher prices, and genuine mint error examples can sometimes sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the rarity and demand. The market changes over time as new discoveries are made and collector interest shifts, which is why researching recent auction results is always important before buying or selling any coin. Perhaps the greatest lesson this coin teaches is that knowledge is often more valuable than luck. Two people can look at exactly the same dime, yet one sees only 10 cents while the other recognizes subtle details that make the coin desirable. That difference comes from education, patience, and experience. Successful collectors spend years learning how coins are manufactured, how errors occur, how grading works, and how market demand influences prices. Every coin they examine becomes another opportunity to improve their understanding of the hobby. The excitement of coin collecting comes from the possibility that the next remarkable discovery could be waiting almost anywhere. It could be inside a roll from the bank, hidden in loose change after shopping, tucked away in an inherited collection, or resting quietly at the bottom of a forgotten coin jar. Most searches end with ordinary coins, but every experienced collector knows that extraordinary finds begin with ordinary-looking pieces that someone else overlooked. As you examine your own coins, pay close attention to the mint mark, the date, the sharpness of the design, the condition of the surfaces, and any unusual characteristics that stand out from normal examples. Compare what you find with trusted numismatic references, and if you believe you've discovered a significant variety or mint error, consider having it authenticated by a reputable grading service. Careful research and patience are always the best tools in the hobby. And that brings us to the end of today's journey into the fascinating world of the 2015 P. Roosevelt dime. While most examples are everyday pocket change, some stand out because of exceptional condition or genuine mint errors, proving that even modern coins can become prized collectibles. The next time you receive change, don't rush to spend every dime without taking a closer look. That small coin in your hand could have a story waiting to be uncovered. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn about more rare U.S. coins, valuable mint errors, historic coin designs, and real auction discoveries, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and join us for future videos. Thank you for watching, and happy coin hunting!